Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as we welcome you to the Art of Bricks, the corner of Georgetown and 16th Street, sits this very small track. Okay, it's not so small. 2.5 miles. It is a big rectangle, if you will, and a track that, if you've never been to, needs to be on your list of tracks to go enjoy. It is a historic one that has seen so much history in over 100 years of racing, all the way from the 1911 Indy 500 won by Ray Haroon to the race that was ran earlier today, won by I won't ruin it for you in case you haven't seen it yet. But either way, we're at Indianapolis and we're ready to go racing. It is the first race of round number 2, the round of 12 in the playoffs, but it's also round number 20 of the FEG Xfinity Series from Sim500 as we welcome you into Indianapolis. I am the captain, Chris Scala. Welcome in as we get you ready for 60 laps again for a second straight week, a 30-lap halfway point. We will see partly cloudy skies and barely any wind, unlike today, where a 10th made an appearance on the track at one point. But we won't have any of that today. We'll have some great racing coming up here in just a moment, and after 60 laps, we'll get a head start on who could be advancing into the round of 8 in just a mere 3 weeks of racing. So get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy our Sunday night of action. Qualifying is going on track right now as we take a look at the 12 drivers that have made it into the round of 12. Pedro Mojica, 2 wins in the 3 races of round number 1. He will be the head guy here going into the second round. Josh Adams, Chad Coleman, Bob Gillenwater, Mike Kelly, Tommy Ryan, Anthony Calantoni, Tyler Dalton, Chuck Sweeting, Jimmy Coleman, Eric Arnold, Richard Beasley. Those 12 drivers will be in. Of course, as we mentioned, Daniel Falkingham last week. Yes, the winningest driver on the season, but due to him missing a race, of course, during that first round, and also a couple other issues happening in the playoffs, he was not able to make it to the second round. So he will not win the championship for a second straight year, but he'll still be here doing some racing throughout the rest of this season. So there's that factor coming into play, and then also this factor, the battle for the CSL Direct Drive wheel, of course, being given away by the Ford Entertainment Group. Josh Adams still leads by 2 laps over Chad Coleman. It's been that way for about 6 weeks or so. Been a 2-lap lead there for Josh Adams as he continues to hold that battle to win that wheel. And a big shout out to the Ford Entertainment Group. We'll talk about them throughout this Sunday evening during the race here this evening. So there you go, your updates on the points and the laps. One thing we will see tonight is a lot of racing. I know when all is said and done, you know, there have been cautions here and there throughout the series, but the good news is, as I've went back and looked at the research of the round of 18 that was ran at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, New Hampshire, and also over at the Pocono Raceway. When you eliminate the Atlanta race, which had 7 cautions in the first round, or the first race of the first round, after that, it basically became a couple early cautions As a matter of fact, one at New Hampshire, and Pocono only saw 2, and they were both really early in the race. After that, we saw a lot of green flag racing. I would not be surprised if we saw something similar tonight here at Indianapolis. Maybe a caution or two early, and then the field will spread out, and I think we could see some pit strategy getting them to the halfway point and also to the end of this race. So what is coming up here this round? Indianapolis, Michigan, Talladega. So we got 2.5 mile, 2 mile, 2.5 miles. So matter of fact, the next 5 races are on 1.5 mile or bigger tracks before we go to Phoenix for the final race of the season. So if you're a fan of intermediate racing, the super speedway racing, these races are the ones you need to take advantage of if you're out there on the track. If you're watching, just sit back and grab a beverage of choice and do that. How's that sound? So we get you ready. Let's go down to the track right now as qualifying is going on. It is currently Pedro Mojica that is the pole sitter for this race. Pretty good lap time for the 58. And, of course, he is carrying that momentum from that win last week at Pocono. He's trying to make it 3 for 4 so far here on the campaign. And some reason it's all blending in again. I hate when it does that. But anyways, Pedro Mojica is leading right now. You see Eric Arnold up in second. That's Bob Gillenwater actually third. And the only reason you're seeing those names kind of blend in like that is because Chuck Sweeting and also I can't see the other car there. It looks like Jimmy Coleman. Those guys have not qualified. Matter of fact, Coleman just qualified. You saw his name clear up. And it looks like qualifying is just about to end. So once again, Pedro Mojica going to be the pole sitter for this race at the Brickyard. So he is starting to get his rhythm on at the right time. He's one of the hottest drivers on the circuit and looking to cash in on that momentum he has got from the last few weeks into this round of 12 right now as we get into our little warm-up period. This gives us an opportunity. Let's talk to a driver that is in the playoffs, but not necessarily the driver of the number 58. Let's find someone who, how about, you know what? Let me talk to Bobby G here for a second. Let's bring Bob up here and let's have a word with the driver of the number 4 as we get Bob up here with us. Bob, just wanted to talk here for a quick second as you get out here run this minute warm-up session. So, obviously, Pedro's been one of the hottest drivers on the circuit, but you've been up there at the same time, getting your share of top 5 finishes and stuff. What's it going to take in this round, being as it's all 2 mile tracks or bigger, to get into that round of 8 next week, in 3 weeks?
Well, some of the tracks that are coming up, kind of some of my favorites. Looking forward to Homestead, dreading Phoenix, but just trying to hold on to Pedro. I'm kind of shocked, actually, this qualifying up here. The track's pretty slick, but, just trying to drive the track and maintain the top 5s as close to Pedro as I can get. I mean, that's about all we can do at this point.
And, of course, tonight being in Indianapolis, you talked about the track being slick right now, over 120-degree track temp, I believe, is what we saw last time we looked. What are you seeing as important tonight? Is it all about track position?
Yeah, I think so, and it's definitely going to be taking care of that right rear later in the run. Whoever takes care of that right rear can bust off, turn 4, turn 2 for that speed down the straightaway. I think it's going to be the person to beat for sure.
All right, my man. Well, good luck tonight. Enjoy yourself, and maybe we'll talk tonight in the top 3 or something.
Hey, thanks, guys.
You too, bud. Bobby G, Bob Gillenwater there in the top 3 tonight, starting 3rd, right behind the pole sitter tonight. That is Pedro Mojica. As we look down at the starting lineup, we show it to you as the cars roll off right now.
Sorry, I stalled.
Your starting lineup right there. Pedro Mojica on the pole alongside Indiana's Eric Arnold. He's back home again, as the song says. Bob Gillenwater, Glenn Campbell, row number 2. Row 3, Mike Kelly and Tyler Dalton. Jimmy Coleman, Tommy Ryan in row 4. And row number 5 is where you'll see Josh Adams and Mike Montesi. Row number 7. That's where you'll see Tom Dreiling and Jeff Ryan, Daniel Falkingham, Chad Coleman in row number 8. Chad is a member of the playoffs. Not sure why his name's not highlighted. It does that sometimes on the grid. Richard Beasley, Bentley Glazier, appearance tonight here in the 18th position. Chuck Sweeting and Jose Gonzalez in row number 10. Charles Woods, Ryan Howard, good to see him back in the series this evening at Indianapolis. Also Randy Yoakum, John Muschin Jr., Steve Herring and Ron Holyfield there in row number 13. Row 14, Doug Sigmund and Brian Wortman and Gerald Livingston in the 29th and final position as the cars roll off. Down the back straightaway. 5/8 of a mile straightaways. Down into the short chutes of the north section of the track. See the iRacing truck through turn number 4. We're used to seeing stock car racing as Jose Gonzalez is on pit road. That's the second straight week this has happened with him. Not sure what's going on there. Also, Ryan Howard and Jeff Ryan apparently have missed the start also, so we'll see what's going on with those cars. As the pace car pulls in the hands of Pedro Mojica and Eric Arnold, the 58 and the 31. As we kick off the round of 12 at a track prestigious like the Brickyard. It's Indianapolis and we're green. As always, our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. Make sure you check them out online. They are on Facebook and the iRacing forums. And, of course, their website, as I mentioned, TrackCams22.com, as Mojica leads them down the back straightaway for the first time. Eric Arnold, Gillenwater filling in third. As everybody pretty much single file most of the way through the field. Through the north portion of the track. Through turn 4. Going to be all about maintaining your tires today through this 60-lap race. As lap number 1 is led by Pedro Mojica. Of course, we have the halfway bonus. Of course, gives away bonus points for the drivers that finish in the top 10 at halfway, as pretty much everybody in the field is single file right now. Literally. All the way back to Steve Herring there in the 98. Gonzalez and Jeff Ryan both started from the pits, it looks like. And Ryan Howard is not gridded yet. So right now it appears that we have 28 cars officially started in this race. And Daniel Falkingham coming to pit road. The bad luck continues for the driver that's won the most races this season. What is going on here? Not sure if it's a stop and go penalty or something, or I mean, could be a pit strategy move. He's just sitting there, so I don't know what's going on there. I'll have to. I haven't heard any audio from any drivers, so I don't know if there was a penalty involved there or something. But let's go back to there's Tommy Ryan back here, the 99, and Scott Simley in the 12. Callan Tony is also there. Tyler Dalton, the 19. Daniel, 30-second pit stop there, so there had to be some kind of penalty involved. There's something that took place there that has unfortunately hurt. Now, if he gets a caution, of course, he will do the lucky dog as of right now, as no one else is a lap down, and thankfully this track is big enough that you don't have to really worry about the whole lucky dog thing, because it's going to be a very long time before you go lap down, especially when it gets to pit stops and stuff. So if you're a lap down right now and you get that caution, you should be okay, especially this early in this race. Mojica still leads. He's got 0.3 of a second over Eric Arnold. One car out of line. Chad Coleman there in the 38 trying to get some air to his car. Maybe get to the inside of Modesty. Not able to do so. Drive with Mike down to turn 2. We look back at the Georgia driver, Chad Coleman. Coleman got his nose there. You see him get a little free off the corner. That's that slickness there, but he's got enough of his nose there. Getting the clean air to it. He might be able to get a run off the straightaway here. Let's see with this draft. Down in turn 1. Got to be a little patient here. And there's Sweeting inside of Beasley. That is the 16th position. As the Gator racing car continues his momentum. As he made it to the second round there, you see Coleman finally getting to the inside of the 6th. And Coleman makes the pass on the 6th car. Move him up to the 12th position, already up 4 spots in this race. These guys getting into a pretty good rhythm right now. Now, again, a reminder for those joining us tonight, if you see the letter P next to the person's name, that is a playoff driver, basically. So where you see Mojica, Arnold, Gillenwater, basically, what is that, 8 of the top 9 drivers, all playoff drivers right now. So obviously you can have a lot of action to go, and a lot of things could happen as we look at back here as Chuck Sweeting continues his move inside of Tom Dreiling for position. So Chuck up 4 spots now to the 15th position. So everybody slowly but surely gaining spots. I've looked back here. Gerald Livingston already up 7 positions. Ron Holyfield up 6 positions early in this race. So yeah, passing is tough, but it can be done, especially early in this run so far. And then depending on how much these guys burn off tires, I think especially later on as this handling falls off these cars, you're going to see some more drivers who are able to save some tires, get out here and make some passes for position. Look back here at Eric Arnold. Eric riding in the 2nd position. Bob Gillenwater all over him in that 4. One thing that Bob and a lot of the drivers were doing during practice, I was watching them actually run in dirty air on purpose, just to try to get out there and figure out something they can do to improve their car. If it's trying to stick that nose in the air a little bit, if it's even move up a groove. Believe it or not, it can work here in Indianapolis. You can move up about a half a groove and get some air on that nose and get a run on that side. Turn 2. Let's throw the weather up here on the screen real quick. You'll see it stage right. 127 degree track temperature right now at 2 o'clock in the afternoon sim time, which the default sim time is always May 15th of that year. So that's why you see May 15th on the date right now. And it is a typical Indianapolis day right there. 79 degrees. And it, as you learned today, can get hot in that state. Trust me, I lived there for 5 years. It'll get hot. It'll get cold, too, at the same time. Well, not at literally the same time. That would be very interesting. Check back here. I saw Sweeting hopping out there for a position again. Beasley's car a little out of shape back there is Tom Dreiling and Randy Oakham trying to work their way around him. Again, with 100% fuel, these cars will have no problem getting halfway at all. However, fresher tires could be the difference in this race. So do you try to pull an undercut move and risk the points that you could need when it comes to your playoff run? If you're a playoff driver, if you're a non-playoff driver, then what do you got to lose? Alan Tony trying to hold off the 6th car. Sweeting all over the back here. Let's see if he pops out here. He got a pretty good run off that corner. But Mondesi also got a good run here as they go side by side. Cal and Tony under attack from dueling blue cars. You see the lap car, Danny Falkingham, 39 back there behind them as he sits back and just kind of waits to see if we will get a caution or not. Here's the problem at Indianapolis. You do not want to go side by side because it'll prevent what just almost happened there. 3 wide action. Cal and Tony deciding to fight on that high side. It kills the momentum of Mondesi. And Chuck Sweeting thought about it. Mike had to make a defensive move to keep from being put 3 wide. And Mike takes the spot away. He's going to bring Sweeting with him. Here comes Daniel with him. The top side is not the identical place you want to be, but if you run it right, you can make it work. As Bentley going to make the pass, so the 84 losing 4 spots, 3 on the lead lap there from Glazier, also from Calantoni and Beasley. So as you see the draft playing a pretty big part in this race. That's why you see a lot of the cars kind of stuck together here for the most part. Is from 1st to 15th, it's only separated by about 7.5 seconds. That's why I talked about the lap car deal earlier. Right now, Daniel is in prime position. He'll probably be the only car until we get the pit stops, unless something weird happens with a car that'll be in the lucky dog position. Jimmy Coleman trying to hold off Tyler Dalton there behind him. Glenn Campbell in this battle. As a matter of fact, these are the guys pretty much you saw riding together out there in practice for the most part when I was watching this. It was Campbell, it was Coleman, it was Dalton, it was Bob Gillenwater. Those guys were out there just kind of communicating with each other, sharing what they were feeling in the cars, and I pretty much heard everybody say about the same thing. Laps, Mojica continues to lead. He has 1.7 seconds now over Eric Arnold. As I mentioned, Bob Gillenwater in 3rd, Mike Kelly, Glenn Campbell, your top 5. Campbell picking up momentum from last week's run on his end. Randy Oakham inside of Dreiling, so Tom falling back another position to 17 or to the 18th position right now. An unscheduled pit stop or something happened to Gerald Livingston, I should say. I knew something seemed wrong. I just realized my events page isn't working for some reason. See if I can fix that real quick as we see the look at the pagoda there in the background. Apology for the little bit of technical work here. Getting my technical guy on it. Oh wait, that's me too. There's your leader. So basically on my timing screen, I have a live timing screen on my second ticker, or on my second ticker, on my second screen, and it informs me of like people passing or people wrecking or pitting or anything like that. And I looked over, it's completely blank, and I'm like, well, that's odd. And it has now updated itself, so I think we're good to go now. I'll know once the next event or whatever happens. Oh, Mike up into the wall a little bit there, and there goes Sweeting going by. This is where I talked about the handling starting to fall off the cars. Bentley Glazier going by, and Mike's going to fall back to 14th right now. And depending on how hard he hit that wall, it could affect the aerodynamics. And yes, Gerald Livingston did jump back to pit road, so unfortunate day for the 96 car of Gerald Livingston. Lap times have fallen off already, some 3 to 4 seconds. Fastest laps of the race, 53.82 by the leaders, 83 and 89. Right now, 56.06 for Pedro, 56.16 for Eric Arnold. And they still got another 13 laps before the halfway point. So this is where the handling comes into play. How much did you take care of your tires? Because if you've not, you're probably going to fall back really quickly here, and you're going to have cars freight training you. Right here on Livingston back on track, so the 96 back on track. Unfortunately, multiple laps down. It looks like 3 as he runs 28th. As we see Mike Kelly, Glenn Campbell here right behind Bob Gillenwater. There's Josh Adams, the 56, the leader of the Ford Entertainment Group battle for the CSL Direct Drive wheel, which is being given away by the Ford Entertainment Group to the driver that completes the most laps throughout the season. It's a really interesting concept and a really cool way to do it, because you always get the guy that wins the most races or shows up for the most races, but let's get out there and let's show your stuff. So go complete the most laps this season. That's a unique way of doing it, and that's exactly what's been done. Josh Adams leads by 2 over Chad Coleman. As you see, Gillenwater and Arnold battle up there for second just there in the screen. And of course, the Ford Entertainment Group. Those guys specialize in sim racing and sim flights gaming machines with over 3,500 PCs built for sim racers and sim flight pilots. All FEG PCs come with a front to back warranty on every part, as well as free labor. Everything is covered PC. And what we're going to do is step away for a quick second as we get you closer. We're 11 laps from halfway already in this race, so we'll go side by side and get you closer and closer to halfway as you're watching the Sim500 Xfinity Series presented by the Ford Entertainment Group here on the Captain Esports Network from the Brickyard.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
You see the battle right there on the screen. Tyler Dalton falling back into the hands of Tommy Ryan. Chad Coleman's also there, and a couple of lap cars of Falkingham and Gerald Livingston as those guys make the pass on Tyler Dalton. Now Tommy Ryan under attack as Coleman continues to climb through the field, +8 to the 8th position. As we're at the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard on the Oval, for round number 1 of the round of 12. The playoffs underway, and Pedro Mujica's led all 20 laps so far in this race. He has 2.1 seconds over Eric Arnold, who is under attack himself right now from Bob Gillenwater. As you see there, Eric protecting that bottom side from Bob, who's about 2/10 back. And of course, Mike Kelly there in 4th. Glenn Campbell now up to 5th. Jimmy Coleman, Josh Adams, Chad Coleman, Tommy Ryan, Tyler Dalton, your top 10. Saw Jeff Ryan make a pit stop. And Jeff is sitting there on pit road, unfortunately, there in the 3 car. So not sure what happened to Jeff. As here we go with a pit stop. Randy Oakham's going to come to pit road. So here we go, the first of the non-playoff drivers playing strategy here. And that's John Mustin Jr. also coming to pit road. Not sure if he had some issues. It's good to see his internet cooperating with him finally. As those guys slowly go to their pit stall here. So the longest pit road spots, I should say, pit stalls in all of racing right here at Indianapolis. However, they're also the narrowest. As there you see the leader come off turn 4. There you see Eric Arnold almost catch the wall. There you see Mike Kelly actually catch the wall. And here comes Campbell inside. Into the south portion of the track as Campbell takes the 4th position after Mike Kelly scratches the wall a little bit there with that 2 car. Jimmy Coleman looking to pounce also. Lap time still in about the 56-second bracket. As Eric continues to let Bob take the top side to try to force him to pass him up there. Let's see if Bob actually sticks it into turn 1 here. Here he goes. I talked about this earlier. That clean air up on the top side will actually work here. The problem is it's going to drag Campbell up there. Campbell, they're right there. You see the 31 get loose bottom side. Gillenwater's going to get the run down the straightaway here. I think you're going to see him take 2nd. There it is, right there. There is a way to make that pass on the top side. I've done it more in an open wheel car than you would a stock car. But for some reason though, ever since the dynamic deal came out a couple seasons ago, Indianapolis has developed a little bit of a second groove when it comes to passing like that. As here comes Coleman inside of Kelly again as these two go back to battling it out after Kelly struck the wall there a second ago. Look at both of them sliding around here. As I said, though, the only deficiency of making a move like this, I'll just say, where did Mike go, is it will bring Josh Adams into his battle. And this time Kelly actually lets Jimmy go there. He probably might have noticed he was blinking and got out of it. Back here, Bentley Glazier inside of Simley for the 12th position. There's a pass there. One major factor I did bring up at the beginning of this race is the pattern we've started to notice in the last 2 races at New Hampshire and Pocono was the fact that we did have some clean green flag racing after a couple cautions. Tonight we haven't seen one yet, and we've been clean and green, so I'm not surprised by what we're seeing. Now, obviously it's too early to predict something like that not happening, but anything is possible. But I think here in about 5 laps, once we get past this halfway point, you're going to see the leaders on pit road as Calantoni had that thing facing sideways. This is the 14th position right here. You see Richard Beasley in the 10 back there. Richard, unfortunately, in the 16th position, the worst of the playoff drivers right now in the top 12. Of course, these cars compared to the Cup cars or even the trucks are probably the least amount of downforce in those cars. Jump up here as we got, look at this train going on here all of a sudden. Josh Adams, also Coleman, all going by Mike Kelly. Fockingham going to follow them through. And Coleman's going to try to go 2 for 1 here inside of Adams. Should I mention right up in front of these guys, Eric Arnold's under attack again as he has got Glenn Campbell up near him. Just keeping an eye on that right now on the telemetry, but this is the best battle on the track right here with these guys as Mike Kelly starts to fall back. He can make it 3 more laps. This has gone from a race at Indianapolis to like a race at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway or something, the way the handling is here. Here comes Campbell inside. Oh, man, they almost hit each other. Arnold did not want to give it up, but Campbell said, give it to me. Coleman continue to put pressure on Adams. You see Arnold getting that car all types of sideways, trying to get to the 44s back again. As they come off turn 4, this will be the final lap before the bonus points are given away. As you see Coleman make the move inside of Adams back here. That is the lap car of John Mustian to his inside of Daniel Fockingham, and now going to make the pass on Josh Adams. So that's where you see the fresher tires making a difference. Those guys who pitted. You see Coleman just scoots up the track, and there goes the 00. Going to go right on around him. Meanwhile, off turn 4. Right now, he was in the short chute, the north section of the track there. And there goes the 58. Pedro Mojica's going to lead every lap so far, and he's going to collect 10 bonus points here for leading at lap number 30. Congratulations to him. And look at this. Josh Adams coming to pit road. He said, you know what? I ain't worried about the bonus points. I'm coming to pit road to get tires. Strategy call here. That's going to bump everybody up a spot. So, Gillenwater will be second. Campbell, Arnold, Coleman, both Colemans, 5th and 6th, non-related. Tommy Ryan, Mike Kelly, Tyler Dalton, Chuck Sweeting. Looks like will be the top 10. As Adams overshoots his pit stall just a little bit. Do not want to have unforced errors. And I think you're going to see about the whole field coming to pit road here in a second because, well, now you don't have to worry about the laps. As Arnold leaves 16.3, not a good stop at all. All right, so Mike Kelly, first one to call his name out. He's coming to pit road right now from the 10th position. You can see the right rear damage on that car, so yeah, it's definitely not handling right now. Question is, does Mike go ahead and kind of get this damage fixed and take the time there on pit road, or does he just go with what he's got and hope for a yellow somewhere? Mike Mondesi also on pit road. Side tires on the 2. He'll go to the left sides. The only way you can tell in iRacing when they're changing tires is, well, when you see the car lift up. It's the only way you know. They pull away. And like I said, the benefit of running around Indianapolis is there's the leader. So these guys are all staying on the lead lap, except for Mondesi. He just went a lap down with a unfortunate slower pit stop for him. So these guys all pitting. If a caution comes out right now, as they say in open wheel racing, these guys in the front are in the danger zone right now because these guys will jump them. Charles Woods, Ron Holyfield on pit road. I think I heard Pedro just say he was coming to pit road here. I'm still trying to learn the voices of some of the guys in the league, but I've talked to Pedro more than 100 times, it feels like, this year. So, and here he comes. The 58's coming. Here comes the 4 with him. Jimmy Coleman going to come also. Let's see who else. That's Tommy Ryan at 99. This is not the easiest pit road to get onto because you got to get down to 55 miles an hour off of turn 4 there from all of, what, 165 or so at that point? And like I said, if you're one of the last ones to pit road, the risk is a caution coming out. But if you're hoping to play the reward card, is you'll have fresher tires at least when you come out of the pits. As Pedro, left side tires going up. You see Doug Sigmund leaving pit road. 14.9 for Pedro. Good stop. Bob Gillenwater 15.2. 14.6 for Jimmy Coleman. So great stop there for his crew. All right, so Eric Arnold, Glenn Campbell down to pit road. Chad Coleman, Chuck Sweeting, Tyler Dalton, Bentley Glazier, Anthony Calantoni all coming in. This is all at lap number 34. Right on the edge of this fuel window for these guys. Jose Gonzalez still staying out. And here goes those guys leaving pit road. You see Gillenwater going by, so this is where the cycle now comes around. And obviously, you do not want to make a mistake right now with all these cars on the lead lap. A mistake will cost you a bunch of time in the pits if it's a penalty or whatever. As those guys all leave pit road, so the one car who's not pitted yet, well, two, Brian Wortman there in the 23rd position, hanging on to the lead lap right now. Working on saving his tires and saving fuel. That's what Wortman does. Jose Gonzalez, the leader right now, though, in his 26 car before we'll hand off to Pedro Mejique. Look at the one-lap difference between Josh Adams pitting and Josh Adams staying out. He has jumped, what, 3 or 4 cars from that pit stop. and now sits right behind what will be eventually the leader, Pedro Mojica. So that just shows you the 1 lap difference on tires, how much track position he gained. However, that 1 lap of tires could pay him later when he starts falling off. He could start falling off quicker than others. So depends on how much he can save and how hard he runs that car. So we'll have to keep an eye on that here. With 25 to go as Jose comes to pit road now. So this will cycle everything back around to the 58 car that'll take the lead of this race. So great job so far by these guys as we're 35 laps in, 25 to go. Sim500 FEG Xfinity Series here on the Captain Esports Network. As I mentioned, next week we go to Michigan. We stay up here in the Midwestern area and go to the Michigan Speedway, 2-mile track there for racing next Sunday night, 8:45 Eastern Time, as we enter the month of August. And only 6 races left after tonight. While we check out the action, it gives us an opportunity to promote the other divisions of racing that go on in Sim500. Of course, they have racing almost every night most of the season. Of course, they have series that are scheduled every night, but obviously there's break times and holidays and things like that that happen. So let's start with this 811 call before you dig the North Carolina 811 Cup Series that you see on Monday nights on LSR TV. David Comstock with a win at Pocono last week. They're at Indianapolis for the 5th annual Brickyard 200, which is coming up here tomorrow. 80 laps of racing here at Indianapolis. That'll be again tomorrow night on LSR TV, their 19th race of the season. Tuesday night, this Super Speedway Series presented by Race City Sports Memorabilia. Richard Beasley, he's a former Super Speedway Series champion in this league. Won at Talladega last week. They're at iRacing Super Speedway, the 3-mile Dover impersonator, if you will. It's an interesting track. For 68 laps of action. That'll be Tuesday night on Virtual Racing Network. Wednesday's Trans-Service Truck Series. Derek Myers getting a win at Iowa Speedway Wednesday night. They're at the Milwaukee Mile, the track older than Indianapolis, believe it or not. Built back in 1906. That's where they'll be Wednesday night on the Milwaukee Mile, 130 laps there. That will be shown on Ghostfire Media. So good luck to them on Wednesday night. And then Friday night, the Midnight Thunder Truck Series. For those who like staying up late at night, Bobby Wetzel getting a win at Nashville. They'll be at Michigan Speedway Friday night for 67 laps of racing there. The Throwback Series, of course, is off right now as they finished up recently, which leads us back to Sunday's FEG Xfinity Series race from Michigan. So that gets you caught up on what's going on in the league. And right now, Bob Gillenwater's caught up with Mike Kelly for 3rd. One interesting thing I'll share with strategies is when you get guys that pit later than others, if their cars aren't handling right, you will start to see a lot more passing out here because those cars will slowly fade back into those cars with newer tires. And actually, as I look, the right rear on that 4 car, look, it's got some damage on it. I believe that's a yes. I wonder how much that's affecting Gillenwater, but he gets a run right there off 4. Let's see if he pokes his nose out and get some air. Try to side draft off the 2. Let's see if Mike gives it to him. He sure does. That is how you execute an Indianapolis pass right there. So move Gillenwater up to the top 3. Mike Kelly back to 4th. As that battle's some 3.5 seconds off of the leader. So as I look through the standings, just want to mention Randy Oakham, unfortunately, ever since his pit stop there at lap 21, actually never came back on track. So Unfortunate situation there for the driver of the 8 car. As I mentioned, Gerald Livingston, he's on track still, is 2 laps down right now. But nobody really had a penalty when it comes to speeding wise or anything like that. So everybody back mostly where they were running before the pit stop started, other than a couple people maybe short pitting on others and getting the jump for position. As we look at Richard Beasley, looking inside of Mondesi. That is the 14th position that Mondesi gives up. And the tires on the 56, I think, are starting to fall off now as he is falling into the clutches of Gillenwater now. Good run off the corner there by the 4. Gonna get to the inside, side draft him back. See a good view of that right rear right there. Oh yeah, he does have some damage on it. So can anybody do anything with Pedro Mojica right now? A 3.7 second lead over Bob Gillenwater, Josh Adams, Mike Kelly, and Jimmy Coleman, your top 5 now. Glenn Campbell all the way back to 7th, so unfortunately he didn't have the best of pit stops in the 44, and Eric Arnold didn't either. He's all the way back to the 8th position now in that 31 car. Chad Coleman 9th, and Chuck Sweeting there in 10th. Tyler Dalton's 11th. There is Tyler back here with Bentley Glazier behind him, Scott Simley, Richard Beasley. And then Mike Mondesi, Anthony Calantoni, the last of the playoff cars there at 84, running in the 16th position. Rest of the cars here on the lead lap. You got Tom Dreiling there behind him in the 23 car. Charles Woods in 18th. Ron Holyfield back in the 19th position right now in that 1 car. Jose Gonzalez, who was one of the last cars to pit road, he runs in 20th. John Mustin Jr. sideways in 21st. Brian Wortman 22nd. Steve Herring is last on the lead lap there in the 23rd position. You see Pedro right back there. As Jeff Ryan comes back to pit road. So there's your cars that are on the lead lap right now. With only 16 laps to go. You have 60 laps of all green flag racing. The race is going to fly right on by. Lap times in the 53 second brackets right now. Actually, we're back to 55, which is to be slowed down 2 seconds. I'm going to step away for just a quick second, come back and get you the final 15 laps of racing here from the Brickyard. Who is going to win the track win at the track, I should say. Known to name many Indianapolis 500 winners and Brickyard 400 winners, and even 2 winners now officially on the road course. We're going to find out. Again, 15 laps away in the Sim500 FEG Xfinity Series on the Captain Esports Network.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
back we are. 14 laps to go, and we have got ourselves a fight on our hands right here. You are looking 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, all in this picture right here. Josh Adams all the way at the front. Chad Coleman all the way at the back as he looks inside Eric Arnold. Arnold tried to look inside Campbell there for a second. And move Chad up a spot as he goes swatting flies through that corner. Ryan with Tommy Ryan as he rolls back to the throttle, gets a pretty good run on Jimmy here. Problem is, you want to be able to set your runs up off of turn 2 and turn 4 for your pass here at Indy. And here he's too far back now, but you got to watch your 6 now because you look in the mirror. I do see a car right there. There's Campbell, but he doesn't have a big enough run either. So, but the draft though, look at this, to the inside of Coleman. Now, if you're Coleman, you got to be careful because if Campbell gets to him, there he goes. Campbell's going to look low here. Oh, and look at Coleman 3 wide with Eric Arnold. This is all 7.5 seconds back. Great camera work there. Of course, thanks to our good friends at Track Cams 22 for all the work. Fan has done so much for iRacing in general, putting these cameras together. A lot of people subscribe to them on road courses, on ovals, even the dirt rallycross stuff. You can get cameras for that, fan cameras, and so much more. He does so much work for this community. We appreciate what Fans does. He's allowed me to broadcast his cameras out on the air as Jimmy swatting flies there off turn 4. But check out trackcams22.com for all the information about them and about what they do. They're in the iRacing forums or on Facebook. So many places to get some information. As Tommy Ryan makes the pass on Mike Kelly. So once again, the 2, I think maybe starting to fall up here in the latter parts of this run. Josh Adams been able to hold on there in that 56. Chad inside of Campbell as he's going to make the pass here, and I don't think you'll have to worry about Arnold going 3 wide here this time, I think. Eric getting to his inside. Let's see what Falkingham does. He dives inside. Unfortunately, Daniel from lap 1, not the best of races for him, as he had to pit for an unscheduled pit stop, so he sits a lap down, 23rd position now, as he just tries to get what he can get. And unfortunately for him, Mojica is right up on the back right now of Steve Herring, and if he gets around him, then Daniel's got to get to him to get the lucky dog. Now Jimmy Coleman's starting to fall back. So, as I mentioned, the comers and goers who did what with their tires during that run. This mess is definitely the best battle on the track here. And you see Gillenwater right up there about 3/4 of a second or so in front. And Chad Coleman is a man on the move right now. He's passed, what, 4 cars, now 5? Up to the top 5 and up 11 positions for the Georgia driver. Nine laps to go, and there's Pedro. He has put a lap on Herring in the 98 car. Just kind of minding his gap right now at 4.7 seconds. Wish I knew how to do that. But I've never had a history of leading this many laps in a race like this. To be honest with you, probably never will. We go back to the battle at hand back here. That was Eric Arnold back there batting off the wall down in turn 4. Campbell making a move on Kelly. Oh, that wasn't Eric Arnold. Eric Arnold's right there. Who was this? That was Mustian maybe in the 00. They both have matching paint schemes. Tommy Ryan under attack. Chad Coleman. Unfortunately, we'll never know if he could get to 58 or not. Probably too far back. But he has worked his way to 4th. And I don't think Hawkingham has left the back bumper of his car. To go. Sweeting now joining this battle as he goes inside Jimmy Coleman for 9th. Tyler Dalton right back there behind him in the 11th position. And the only laps that Pedro Mojica has not led today is Chad Coleman lets Daniel go by. We're during the pit stop cycle. Oh, and Tommy Ryan's going to get turned into the wall. That's going to bring the first caution out and change the complexion of this race. Somebody done pulled a Kurt Busch, Jimmy Spencer on Tommy Ryan. At least that's what it looked like. Damage on that 99 car. First caution and 6 laps to go. Pedro Mojica's like, you gotta be kidding me. Let's see what happened on replay. Glenn Campbell there peeking his nose inside of Tommy. And the slightest of contact. It was one of those where Glenn might have felt he was there, Tommy might have felt he wasn't there, and unfortunately 2 people going for the same piece of real estate. Let's watch again here. A racing thing, unfortunately, there. And here we go. Look at it. It's 5 laps to go this time behind. Everybody's coming to pit road. I do have a weird feeling of one car that won't pit. Nope, I was wrong. I thought Wertman would stay out. Wertman pits, so everybody's on pit road here. Does anybody try 2 tires? Doubtful. I wouldn't think so, but you never know. Four tires and fuel. Coleman has to drop inside there to try to get around the 56 as Gillenwater is going to be second off pit road. Then it's Coleman, I believe. And that actually is going to be a benefit of the inside line there. Now, Tommy Ryan stayed out. This is going to be a pretty wild one. Now, the great news is on these kind of tracks like this, iRacing about 3 seasons or 4 seasons ago installed a new caution procedure where basically pits open right there. They hit 2 to go at that pit stop and then come to 1 to go this time by. So we are going to have 3 laps to go when we take the green flag. And I'm not going to dare try to talk to anybody right now. I'm going to let them focus and get themselves ready here because this is going to be wild. Especially with Tommy Ryan leading this race after just being the caution. This is going to be a very brave move as Falkingham takes the wave around here. So if he gets a quick yellow, he'll have a shot here to actually gain some track position potentially in the back. Now, there are 2 green-white checker procedures, I should say restarts, in this series. And this will not be the first, so we still have those 2 if needed, if they don't get back to the white flag in 3 laps. So this could be wild. As you see, Pedro Mejica on the outside. Tommy Ryan did not pit there. And unfortunately was the caution also at the same time there as he got hit by the 44. He and the 44 came together. He is on 23 lap tires. Don't spin them, Tommy. That's all I ask. And I'm pretty sure he's got about 23 other people in the back that agree with him also. Mojica second, Bob Gillenwater inside third, Chad Coleman outside fourth, Josh Adams inside fifth, Chuck Sweeting sixth. This is going to be very interesting if Tommy does not get going here. Pace truck is going to hang a left right there. 3 laps to go. Who's going to win at the Brickyard and who's going to win the opening race of the round of 12? You see Ryan spin the tires. He gets through the gearbox pretty smoothly. Brum knows he's about to be eating for lunch. Mojica to his outside as they check up. Everybody trying not to run over the 99. Gillenwater gets by, clips the apron, so does Adams. They both got to get out of the gas. Eric Arnold, 3, almost 4 wide down the back straightaway. Adams inside of Gillenwater for second. Through the north chute of the track into turn 4. 1 car up against the wall. I think that might have been Coleman. Look at him scatter. 3 wide again. A for effort for Tommy trying. I'll give him that. Was it the smartest decision in the world? No. But you know what? Sometimes you got to take chances. And I'm okay with that. Was it the... trying to remember the coach for the Buccaneers there. Former car. Bruce Arians always said, no risk it, no biscuit, right? Now, will people probably be unhappy with that move? Likely. But everybody's got their opportunity to race, and everybody's got their opportunity to do what they want to do. As they come off turn number 4, Pedro Mojica is going to see the white flag. Final lap here at the Brickyard. 2.5 miles to go from his 3rd win in 4 races. They're racing hard back here. That was, I think that was Scott Semley. Bentley Glazer's all the way down in Brownsburg trying to make a pass. And he does get around Eric Arnold for 7th. Great run for him. Tyler Dalton under attack. Well, if you had to say who was going to win the championship, my vote is for Pedro. 3rd win in 4 races and a win at Indianapolis to Pedro Mojica. Josh Adams takes advantage of the caution and finishes 2nd. Bob Gillenwater 3rd. How about Chuck Sweeting, a 4th place finish for the 57? He's going to be 3rd in points after this race, I believe. Chad Coleman 5th. Glenn Campbell, Bentley Glazier, Eric Arnold, Scott Simley, and Tyler Dalton, your top 10. Tommy Ryan tried, but unfortunately 21st finishing spot for him. As I kind of mentioned last week, Pedro was finishing 2nd all the time to Daniel Falkingham, and then we got to Nashville, and the door opened up, and ever since then, he has won 5 races since May 15th, which when you look at that number, you're looking at 8 races, so he's won 5 of the last 8. Pretty impressive, I'd say. I'm just going to confirm that real quick. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 races. So 5 of the last 9 have gone to Pedro Mojica. So let's look at the dominance that 58 is starting to have now in the series, and especially with Daniel Falkingham not in the playoffs anymore. This could be his to be taken. And he kicks it off with a bang here this evening as we look at the results from the race. Pedro wins it by 0.8 of a second over Josh Adams. Great finish for him. Bob Gillenwater 3rd, Chuck Sweeting and Chad Coleman, your top 5. Glenn Campbell finishes 6th. Bentley Glazier, great run for him. 7th, Eric Arnold 8th. Scott Simley and Tyler Dalton, your top 10. Richard Beasley 11th. Mike Kelly, Jose Gonzalez comes back to 13th. Anthony Calantoni 14th. Jimmy Coleman, I'm sure he's not going to be happy with 15th. Mike Mondesi finishing in the 16th position. Tom Dreiling 17th. Charles Woods 18th. 19th going to Brian Wortman. Ron Holyfield 20th. Tommy Ryan tried his strategy move with the damage. 21st for him, and unfortunately the worst of the playoff drivers. Daniel Falkingham 22nd. Steve Herring, John Mustian Jr., Doug Sigmund, Gerald Livingston, Jeff Ryan, Randy Oakham finishing in the 28th position, and Ryan Howard, I think, is still stuck at St. Elmo's and has not made the race yet. Anyways, let's go down to talk with our top 3 drivers in the race here, and let's start with Bob Gillenwater, who continues to help me feel better about myself when I interview people, because in other leagues I'm picked on for causing broadcaster jinx. Finishes 3rd tonight in the race. Now, Bob, obviously, you're kind of the short end of the stick there, because you had Tommy Ryan trying, we could call it a desperate move if you want, but, obviously, he's trying to do what he has to do, and it caught you in a bad spot, and then it looked like you caught the apron just a small bit there into turn 2, and it cost you momentum. Everything seemed to work against you, but still finished 3rd.
But I didn't know. I knew I was in trouble with Tommy. He really got slow down into 1, and I think if Chad had gone to the outside of us, I wouldn't be in the top 3. There's no way. He went low, I think, picked the wrong lane, but I wasn't sure off of 2. I thought Tommy was still out there. Chad and those guys in my mirror, and I didn't know if me and Tommy door bumped, if I actually got the rumble strip, but it really upset my car, and I lost that momentum. And kudos to Josh, great run, good clean racing, but yeah, it was a handful.
Yeah, I will admit it. I think when you see the replay, you'll see where you kind of clipped. I think where the grass and the road come together there, and I think that's what upset your car there a little bit. And I could be wrong too, but I think that's what I remember seeing when that happened. But the one thing that impressed me the most, I know you guys talked about it during the pre-race, was how the track was really slick, and it seemed like after about 15 laps, it went from looking like you were racing at Indianapolis to like you were racing at Darlington or Atlanta, old Atlanta.
Yeah, and what was really crazy there towards the end of the second run, towards the end, we had that cloud cover, and I was shocked. That's when I really started losing time to Pedro. I got so tight. I kept wanting the sun to come back out, but then when it was hot, I mean, there was times. It's funny, my car would almost set twice, and then the ass end would want to kick out, and uh, yeah, it was just the dynamic weather iRacing's done just such an amazing job. But uh, yeah, you got to figure it out, man. I mean, it changes through the whole race.
Well, it was a great race on your part, man. Congratulations, a great points night. As you should be, I'm guessing P2 going to Michigan next week. So congratulations on that, and shout out to whoever likes you, bud.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thank you, Captain Esports, for your broadcast. Can't wait to go back and watch this thing. Of course, Sim500, Jimmy had a little bit of audio trouble tonight, but I'm a Mafia guys, and big shout out to Beast TV. These guys have just kind of stayed in here behind us and coming down to the end of the chase. It's been a great year with those guys, and of course our sponsor, Ford Entertainment Group, Jeff. I can't wait to see who wins that steering wheel here at the end. Looks like that's close. That's another exciting thing going on here at Sim500. Just anybody out there looking for a fantastic league, good competition, check out the website, sim500.com, and come on over and check us out.
There you go. Make sure you do that, and appreciate your time as always. And good luck the rest of the way. Obviously, just had a couple thoughts in my head at one time there, but great job tonight, Mr. Gillenwater, and we will see you at Michigan next week.
Sounds good, Chris. Thank you, Bob.
All right, buddy. You too, Bob. I'm Gillenwater, finishing in the third position, and move him back, and let's get the man that kind of lucked out a little bit with this caution that came out there at the end of this race. Josh Adams, he says, you know what? I'm not going to worry about the playoff points so much here, and I'm going to pit a lap before halfway ends, and because of that, you jump up to second, you stay at about third, and we're able to hold off about 10 cars, and then you get the caution, and you get that inside line on was it? Yeah, you were on the inside, I believe, for that restart, and were able to maneuver yourself ahead of Bob when he got a little loose there off turn 2, and able to get a second place finish.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I wasn't even thinking about the halfway points. Like at that point, I was just thinking that I'm not as good as the line of cars right in front of me, so I'll short pit them, try and jump them, and hope at some point a caution comes out, and it did. So yeah, we lucked out on that. That's had 3 or 4 cars getting ready to pass me there with about 5 to go before that yellow came out.
Got to ask the obvious question here. I kind of mentioned it to Bob and to you here. It's like, were you caught off guard by the way this track ran? It seemed like it just ate up the tires really quickly, and you were out there just slipping and sliding the whole time.
I actually was probably a little bit. Like, usually there's a ton of fall off at Indianapolis, so that shouldn't surprise anybody. But I mean, the car did feel, it felt just, it did feel a little bit like, not very comfortable at times. But it didn't drive terrible. But yeah, I got the tire warning like 2 laps before I pitted. I think I was at like 46% on my right front. Like, I didn't think I was driving that hard, but I guess it was chewing through them.
Interesting. Tire warnings are never good on iRacing. Well, great job tonight, man. Great second place finish for you, and shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, just another clean race. So you were getting some good finishes here when we need to. So go on to whatever's next week and try and get another top 3 there. Hopefully we can win one of these.
That would be Michigan. Yes, the Danhausen paint scheme. We're waiting for it. At least I am.
Yeah, Maybe we'll bring it out next week.
It'd be funny if you didn't win the race. I'd be like, see?
Yeah. Somebody's got to make it. If we win with it, then we got to run it the rest of the season. So
that's awesome. Might have to do some work for you this week. All right, well, great job tonight, man, and congrats on your second place finish.
Yeah, you just come up with a 56 Supra. I'll be all about it.
All right, buddy. Great job, man.
All right, thank you.
You too. As Josh Adams finishing in the second position as he heads out, and what's starting to become a familiar scenery is this guy in victory lane again tonight. His third win in 4 playoff starts. He's starting to look like the favorite for the championship. Pedro, congratulations. You pick up at Pocono and left off here at Indianapolis, leading all but the laps you had under green flag pit stops, basically in this race tonight, and just dominating Indianapolis.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chris, man. It was that was a dominating win for sure. That felt good, man. It feels good to have one of those races where pretty much put it on cruise control, man, the whole race, and just manage the tires and didn't push too hard until there at the end. But yeah, man, no, the setup, like, it fit my driving style at this track. I like this track. It's very challenging. I think it really showcases people's talents and whatnot. So super excited, especially to win at Indianapolis, like, huge track to win at. So I'm just really happy and proud of the effort that was put forward to get this win today. And man, yeah, it was nice. A little nerve wracking there at the end. With the yellow with like 5 to go, and then Tommy stayed out with a wrecked car and 34 lap tires. So that was a little nerve wracking, but got a good start. Was able to stay on his right rear going into turn 1, and at that point I knew that I just had to make sure I didn't get turned and seal the win.
I will say Tommy might have had the line of the night. Obviously, it wasn't heard over the air here, but I heard it on my ears. You asked him, how many laps were on your tires? And you said 5. He answered 5. And I'm sitting there like times 7. No, needless to say, though, it was a chance he took. You were able to take advantage of it. But the one thing I wanted to share with you, and I don't know if you realize this, but obviously Nashville was your first win because you were finishing second to Daniel almost so many times you were doing it in your sleep, too. But ever since Nashville, you've won 5 of the last 9 races.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, it's kind of what I was telling you earlier in the year, Chris. When you put yourself in position so many times like we have or I have, eventually you're going to start winning races. There's no way that you can't not win a race if you run that good all the time. And I think finally, a little luck on our side in some races, and yeah, some races just fit my driving style a little bit better than Daniel's. I was able to get around him for a couple wins, and a little, like I said, a little luck. Yeah, it's been a good run this I guess second half of the season. So yeah, I like to continue that on. Hopefully we could keep those stats on, and have another good run next week and have a nice little pad going into Talladega.
Yeah, that wouldn't be such a bad thing, would it?
No, that's for sure. Especially how the super speedways have been for myself this season. The more points I could get on the cutoff, the better going into that race. And I'm sure everybody else is kind of on the same boat. You just Talladega is such a wild card. You don't know what's going to happen there.
There you go, my man. Well, great job tonight. Shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, VF Performance Academy and Tap Out Tuning, Michael Sharp Racing, and the man himself, Michael Sharp. Appreciate them and all the sponsors on the car. Appreciate them for supporting me. Without them, I wouldn't be in this series showcasing their product on the broadcast and competing for a championship. So appreciate them a lot, and hopefully representing them well. Trey Edson for painting the car. He painted the car, did such a great job painting the car. It looks great. So ever need a paint, hit up Trey. FEG for sponsoring the series. Again, that most lap award winner, man, that's that's so close, man. That's actually pretty exciting to kind of, we kind of keep up with that during the race, like where certain guys running, and if something happens, like who's in it, and whatnot. So that's actually been pretty entertaining this year, and so it's coming down the wire. So that'll be fun to watch. Christopher, thank you for putting on the broadcast. Hopefully, didn't put you to sleep too bad. um, all the admins at Sim500, Joey, Jimmy Coleman for running this series. I appreciate you guys for everything you do, and everybody else on Team Name tonight. Appreciate them for racing with me and having a good time. So that's what we're all about, having a good time and winning races. So
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations on another win, and we will go to Michigan next week and see what happens. So best of luck, bud.
all right, thank you, Chris.
You too. That is Pedro Mojica, the winner tonight here in Indianapolis. He'll probably go over to St. Elmo's and celebrate a little bit tonight. Doesn't sound like a bad idea if I was really up there, but I'm not. I'm a little bit away from there now. So with that said, though, great race from everybody in the series tonight. Only one caution to talk about, and that was the wreck between Campbell and Tommy. I'm sure they've spoken about it and moved on or whatever, but either way, still a great race. Indianapolis putting on another good show. Of course, yes, the single file lines might seem boring to some people or whatever, but that's part of the racing you get here to Indianapolis. And of course, with tire fall off, it creates all types of drama here at this race, and that's exactly what it did. So great job to everybody in the race tonight, and congratulations to Pedro on another win as we get ready to head to the Irish Hills coming up here next week at the 2 Mile Michigan Speedway. That should be a pretty fun one here on the Captain Esports Network. As always, big shout out to the Ford Entertainment Group for sponsoring, of course, the Sim500 Xfinity Series, as we are now 20 races deep into this 2022 season. As we head out, always remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!